the members here of the community in West Village, and we're just getting inside this bottle, so just to get an understanding as to how things are happening here, and if everything is going accordingly. Minister Begitzel, of course, joined by the Deputy Minister Castle Matele, and also the senior police officials here. We also have General Fani Masemola, who's the National Police Commissioner, together with the Gauteng Police Commissioner as well. They are also here. Let's just try to take a listen to what the minister is saying here. He is currently inside a bottle store and speaking to the owner and just engaging with the owner of this bottle store.
Last year there was a shooting, but everything is fine. Okay. Upubaba like that. Ubaleka kanjani ngoba simvakashela. So amazama wanhluphi la.
Awasabuyi manje, awasabuyi usathe igqoka nathi siwabhekile. Nathi siwabhekile ngelisolo phosi besikhona emeeting in last Saturday. Ngesikhathi kukhona besikhona lapha. Siwabhekile nathi kakhulu.
So anwathole nenkinga of late.
Manje sabone neyi1. Sabone neyi1 manje lapha. Bayikho neyi1 sibike simbuza ukuthi uphuma phi ubani. Mangekho njani sifonela amaphoyisa.
No sinivakashele nje sizobuza ukuthi after sila injani impilo, is it improving, or you yourself telling us more what do you think could be done to improve the situation? Yeah, sabona ubabani wena
ngibaba umpofu walapha ekhaya.
Umpofu wala ekhaya hamba kanjani?
Kuba khona wena wasiza kakhulu.
So ufuna ukuthini more? What else can we do as amaphoyisa to kwenza ngcono isimo?
To sustain.
Okay.
Keep on doing what you've been doing because they keep on mushrooming.
Okay.
Maybe lapha they mushroom somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you can keep on their tail, make sure that they don't mushroom elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Sustain what you've been doing. I think it's going to be good. What you did, we appreciate very much your Lena. It made a very big difference.
Okay.
Because they can walk to the clinic in Amanya, so later people they found their freedom.
Okay.
Yeah. Although it's coming little by little, but at least they found their freedom.
There's
a change.
There
is a change. Yeah. So now what we want is to make sure that we sustain.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, it's fine. Your national commissioners here, provincial commissioner were here, they were listening. Sizele nje ukuzolalela nje namhlanje ukuthi emva obasela how is life?
We have seen Ubaba Kekane at night running around. We have been with him at night.
Okay.
Running around chasing some guys. We are happy about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ngithi namtheni Ubaba Kekane akahambe lapha. Ngisho kulokho. Ahlale manje.
No, I think well,
so Police Minister Begitzel is really just engaging some of the residents here. You remember that for that they were calling for some of these police officers to actually be, removed from their positions. A concern that he, of course, raised, saying that it was concerning that they were unhappy with the police in the area. We understand that the police minister, in that conversation that he had with the residents, they have said that things are much better, things are much more smoother than what they were before. And since the police have come in, we know that the police have come in their numbers in this very area, and since they have come in, residents saying that things are much better and much easier for them. So, it seems there is some really good progress. Let's just listen in to what he's saying to the media now.
Well, we were here some few weeks ago under a really intense situation where the community, as you know, that around here, young women were attacked, raped and all. As we spoke to the community, they say situation was worse. What we knew, what we saw there about those kids was part of almost ordinary life of criminality. People here called Zamazamas, chasing people, chasing their houses and all that. We promised and we made commitment that we'll try to work together with the communities. That's why we're back here. We have moved a little bit of some other areas. One area that they raised a serious issue was 3 and 4, there where we started. there was a factory there, Zamazama factory, that has been dismantled. There is another on the other side that has been dismantled called the Plastic View. But we had to come to listen. There are issues that communities are still raising, but more than anything, looks like the life is getting better, but we need to sustain it. We need to work with the communities. There are matters that we're supposed to deal with to improve the situation.
But as far as police, reaction is concerned, some of the community members at this point, General, are saying that the police are still not responsive when it comes to some of the crimes that they report. We spoke to residents of Great Valley. We're saying that even now, they haven't seen any improvement in terms of police reaction. What are you thinking about that?
Well, it's exactly why we're here, so that also we hear those things. But some of the community members, they say they see the difference. It's not just as we came here and the community was together, almost everybody was one side to say police are not responsive, are not helping. But as we move now, they say while there are issues, while there are matters that we need to want police, but some community members now, they say they're beginning to see the difference. The only thing they say, improve on what we see, but sustain what we see. Is exactly why we're here, so that we're here under these relaxed conditions, where we're not taking this or where we're not responding to any form of violence. Just to this community didn't know that we were coming here, so we just wanted to come and see the day-to-day life and hear more information, so that we act on that information.
Minister, you speak about sustainability, and this is something that the community is also asking for. How long do you think you'll be able to sustain the number of officers that you have brought out to this particular area to ensure the safety of this community?
Well, one thing that we committed ourselves as we came here is that we will come back to the community to find out how better life is in that particular time. This is not the trip. That one will have to go back to the community as we did come. So we are not going to reduce the availability and sustainability of the police until we come back to the community to say, here we are, can we hear from you? What do you think could be done now? Can we withdraw? I know they will say, don't withdraw. But for now, we want to sustain, we want to remove the people that they talk about. We have removed quite several factories. A very big number of people have been arrested here around this area, which we believe that is softening the level of crime, but indeed with a full acceptance that more still have to be done.
Just two questions in one, Minister. The first one is the issue around the arrest that you've just spoken about. How many of those people have you been able to link to the rapes of those 8 women earlier in August? The second one is the community still complaining about police officers who are working with these Zamazamas. What's the plan with those police officers that are seemingly corrupt and working with Zamazamas and getting some kind of payback?
Let me respond to the last question. We did say, wherever we go with the communities, wherever they raise issues with these police, we are requesting community members to come to us, the national commissioner, the provincial commissioner, the regional commissioner, is myself. Come with that evidence, because we agree. If there are these bad elements within the police, of which we are agree, but we also want to make the point that many police are doing a good job. They are good police officers. Give that information to us so that we are able. So I said, one young lady has raised the matter now. I said, I'm ready to listen. I'll listen to her and any other person that has got that information, because it doesn't help to shout on it and all that. What helps is to talk on the information, and then we make sure that Amapoyisa leadership, if they've committed crime, you know that we've got other ways of dealing with it. We've got iPad, we've got Secretariat. The Secretary of the Secretariat is here to check and follow up on those matters that the communities are raising. So that one we are really fine. We do want to uproot those officers that are here for the job. As I've said time and again, we're not here for the job. We're here for the service. And we want to see them serving the people here rather than doing things that they're not supposed to do.
And the DNA results? Sorry, Manuel.
14 people we know that they have appeared in court. And those people were fully identified by the victims in both photos and in the actual identification of those people. So we know we have those people. Unfortunately, I know that laboratories have requested other 7 DNA specimens about a week or two to say they want to go to be conclusive about those. So those are continuing, but it does look like we're going somewhere. There are even some footages that have been found and all that. Maybe it's enough for me to end there, but it does look like we are having a direction on what happened in that particular time. But one thing, when we get a proper direction and we think that we have got enough kind of information, it will be fair to go to the families to brief them even before we brief the media. But we have found some direction on that question.
In terms of operations, are you happy with the police operation so far here in the West Rand? And are the special police teams that you had promised will come here already?
But you have to Babumpofu say him and Kekane here in the Baltic store. They have time where they move during the night and all. Operations will be always improved, but we'll never reach the situation where we say now we're at the best. But what we need to do is to keep doing those things, to sustain those things and all that kind of thing. Mawela has been having these operations, not necessarily here, but around here. Where we went, where we found us in 2 and 3, that was a very populated community. All removed, that was a factory. Most of the so-called gold was brought there, was not even coming from there. Those people were linking their electricity, water with the communities, others with the cooperation of the community, others forcing the community to do those things. So we had to remove all that village and we had to arrest those people. These operations will have to go on, and we hope that we'll manage to clean the streets. Maybe the question shall be addressed, when do you think we'll remove them? For now, we'll have to saturate this place and then come back to the community to hear from them. Do we agree to withdraw now? I'm very sure they will say no.
Thank you.
There you have it, Police Minister Eadie really just giving us details about the issues that the communities had raised initially. You'd remember that just a month ago we did have an imbizo in this very area of West Village. The Police Minister now engaging with the residents of West Village just to see how are they feeling about the units that have been brought in to this area to ensure that there is safety and that they can feel safe and that they can sleep at night. Something important that the Police Minister said during that imbizo, that he wants the residents here to feel safe and for them to be able to sleep at night. And he says that this operation was something that was needed also just to hear from the residents without it being planned. And that is how he has put it. It should not have been planned, and that's why they then decided to come here this afternoon. And those areas that he was speaking about were places that we went to earlier today with the Police Minister and his entourage, where we saw baths that were lying there that Zamazamas allegedly used to use. We also saw machinery that they had there that they used to use, and the Police Minister instructing his officials that they need to remove every little thing so that the Zamazamas do not think that it's still okay for them to actually be there or find a way to return to that very area. So Police Minister Eadie is saying that those police units that he said that they will come here and to saturate the area, as he puts it, they will remain in place for as long as possible until they are sure that this area is safe for the residents of West Village. This is the Krugersdorp area. You'd remember that those 8 women were raped in Krugersdorp, and that is how then we came to this space where we are seeing the Police Minister together with his entourage ensuring that the residents here feel safe. I mean, during that imbizo, they had spoken extensively about their unsafety. They had spoken about how they do not feel that they can't even leave their homes after 6 p.m. and they've set themselves that particular curfew because of how how unsafe it had become for the residents to actually be outside of their homes. And so the minister promising that those police units that are here will remain in the area, not too sure for how long, but they are expected to remain in the area. And he says that the progress is there following that rape of those 8 women. The progress is there. And they are hoping that, it will be fast-tracked so that these women can also get some kind of peace and closure following the trauma that they went to in this area. We did also see the police minister interact with other community members and just warning them about some of the substances that they had. We saw a van that was filled with petrol and a battery, a car battery, and the police minister also just speaking to issues such as those. So he was not here just to, touch base with them about what the situation is, but also to hear how the police can actually do more in this very community. And this is something that he asked the residents, how can they do more? What more needs to be done for them to continue to feel safe? The main answer from the residents of West Village being the sustainability of the police force that has been brought out here.
And as he interacted with some community members, speaking in isiZulu, the shopkeeper was saying that on her end, zama-zamas are no longer a problem, and when they identify one, they're able to ask questions without really feeling like their lives are in danger. But another interesting conversation was with another gentleman within the same shop who spoke to the zama-zamas mushrooming within the area, speaking to the point of the police minister when he says that the equipment of the illegal miners must be removed to avoid such issues that the resident was complaining about.
Absolutely, Mpo. And that very resident, the woman in this very shop who spoke about how they are feeling now that, they are able to, she's a tavern owner, in essence, and she's one of the ladies who actually spoke at that imbizo, talking about how threatened they feel by these zama-zamas, talking about how some of these zama-zamas would walk into her shop, and if she doesn't want to sell to them or she can't sell to them at that point, they would actually threaten her with a firearm in the air and threatening that they will shoot her. So she has now said that, they have not bothered them, and if they do see one, they then, ask the relevant questions because they're now feeling safer to do so in this very community. That gentleman as well, reiterating what Begikele has just told us, and what he mentioned at the first stop that we went to, Mpo, where we saw that equipment still there, saying that equipment needs to be removed because then people will think that it is okay for them to at some point return back to those very areas. So, the community here saying that they are feeling safer, but there still needs to be more done by the SAPS, things like removing that very equipment, but also things like, not taking bribes from these zama-zamas. One of the community members here also mentioning a specific spot where he requested for the police to go to, and for Police Minister Begikele to also go to, and he says that that's exactly where the zama-zamas are. He's also said that besides the zama-zamas being there, they have seen police officers. They even have the names of these police officers who go with these zama-zamas, and they get some kind of bribery for them to actually keep quiet. So the police, the community here, really urging for the police to ensure that they are clean, and also that they feel much more safer by ensuring that equipment that the zama-zamas would actually use is removed from this area.
Very well, Tshegoato Moagi. We leave it there for now. Coming to you live from Krugersdorp, of course, Police Minister Begikele on a walkabout, trying to get a sense of how the people of that area are feeling.